predicting what will happen in a best of one. For me, as a humble play-by-play caster, what I do certainly love is unpredictability, because it always means the games are going to be volatile, and removing some of those variables is the key to limiting some of that volatility. For now, it's the GP, it's the Ornn top lane focus, but I like that they're taking the Rakan away from a guy like Torre. Kaiser's also tried his hand on it, but maybe we get to see Kaiser's TARIC once more today as the Senna is next to hit the ban list.
Quite surprised to see Mad Lions actually banning away the Gangplank. Orome, he has shown a proficiency to go towards that champion, but I think the trend that we're starting to see from Orome is he's much more willing to pick for the team rather than pick for himself. Like he played the Zac yesterday, which definitely got bullied out a lot, but ended up becoming very valuable later on into the game. And so we'll see what focus they go for this time round. The set, of course, big flex pick. You can't assume that it will be played into the top lane, but very versatile in where it can go.
See what the response is here if Excel are willing to match with a flex pick of their own. A lot of debate, of course, a lot of new champions, but the potential to enter, as it is a new patch on 10-4. I personally love Gnar, would be surprised to see him, and it looks like APHELIOS will remain the high priority pick for the side of Excel. Makes a lot of sense, despite the most recent nerfs, he is still incredibly powerful.
All right, my pitch for Excel would be draft a comp that just plays around bot side of the map. I think Patrik has honestly been smurfing this split. This guy has been really standout, and okay, okay. Oh no.
They're gonna follow him. Expect or Mickey, they're following the set with the Renekton.
Oh no, you don't even know if the set is top lane. Like, he could still be support. This could be KALISTA set bot lane.
I mean, Vedius, that sounds like the greatest thing you could possibly say to me. So while the draft may not be great for one side or the other, I'm ready to see it.
So Mad Lions are going to stick with what they ran against G2, KALISTA TARIC. Very potent 2 versus 2. Turns out, it's exceptionally strong in the late game team fights, which should come as no surprise to anyone. When it was brought out against G2, they themselves said we weren't expecting how good it actually was at mitigating a lot of what we wanted to do. And you have to bear in mind, champions like Renekton want to run at you. They want to try and close the gap. What's KALISTA really good at? Kiting back. Then the moment he gets on top of you, TARIC ultimate comes down, and already this early priority on the Renekton could prove difficult to play up against this Mad Lions comp.
KALISTA is absolutely the queen of kiting. We'll see the Bloodthirster, the Blade of the Rune King, the Runeans. You cannot get on top of this champ, which does up the burden of execution on the side of Excel, but I like that we're seeing the THRESH picked up. Give a little bit more safety to a pick like the APHELIOS up against a champion like Set. Pull him back with that Lantern. Deny some of those engages.
But it also gives you setup in the bot side of the map, which I would very much like to see from Excel. Play through your strong side, which should be Patrik and Torre. This 2v2 is very strong. Their laning phase is typically very strong, and I think a lot of it comes from how Patrik has been playing and managing his wave. So with a THRESH, you have the Lantern to pull in your jungler, and you have the Hook and Flay to actually set up those ganks. I think that Excel could be thinking about a Gragas right now. Good scaling, breaks apart the TARIC as well, and I think that Mad Lions, given that they do have another ban, should consider taking it off the board.
And I love that Mad Lions ban Elise here, because it denies some of that setup bot lane, and it also denies the Elise Renekton combo that we talk so much about anytime we see these champions, because when you have an APHELIOS who can point and click into CC, the targeted follow-up is so easy to pull off. But Excel,
they banned Gragas?
It's a bit interesting to me.
That's very surprising. I would have thought that this would come out from them.
I guess you're afraid of the alley-oop into the set, potentially. I guess you want APHELIOS to just be safe and secure in that backline. You don't want to deal with this placement.
I mean, this also suggests that maybe XL is waiting for a jungle counter pick at the very end. You know, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see what they go for towards the end. Mad Lions focusing on removing some of those strong 2v2s up towards the top side of the map with both Elise and Pantheon. You know, you already talked about it with Elise. Pantheon basically does the same thing, except
AD
he
Elise
also provides the point and click.
So powerful, things that you could just push and it instantly stuns them.
Don't talk about hovers. Never
I won't.
Yeah.
I wanted to. You know I always do.
Oh, okay.
Right, there you go.
Okay, here we go. Why play through bot lane when you could play through every lane at the same time?
One button, baby, push R.
All right, KARTHUS, I forgot about him. Still a very strong jungler. I think he can still work in this composition, makes a lot of sense, and it gives you a lot of options in terms of your mid lane. We know that XL love to play their AD mid laners, things like Yasuo, things like Pantheon. We've been seeing a lot from him. And the OLAF response from Mad Lions, these guys are doubling down when it comes to early game aggression.
Absolutely. They're going to need to get a lot done here if they want to come out on top. Follow-up will now be the Zoe for Humanoid. I generally like this pick in Humanoid's hands, but have to see how quickly Mad Lions can take over the early game and how Excel want to try and mitigate this. It's not like they don't have a fair share of early game on their side with a pick like the Renekton, but everything else.
I mean, this is the thing. This is why Renekton is like such a standout in this comp. it doesn't really fit what the rest of the comp is trying to do. Sure, he offers some team fight value later on, but I think he's really going to struggle to play out this game later on. But aside from the Renekton, I like the Tristana. I think it's a good matchup into Humanoid. I think it offers you a huge amount of siege. I think that the Baron taking power of Excel is also extremely good. And also, Excel have pretty solid lanes now in terms of the early game, and they have a way to collapse on the OLAF should he try and set up early invades. And I think this was really important because when you looked at Mad Lion's draft, you can see that mid-jungle duo, very strong for them. Zoe and OLAF in the early game is a very scary duo to deal with, and when you're a KARTHUS, it's very easy to get invaded on. So you have to pick something that could mitigate Zoe's ability to gain priority very quickly. Tristana is a great answer to that. But now the question is, will Tristana be able to survive against what could be a heavy camp focus coming out from Shadow into the mid lane to try and generate prio there so they can move it into the enemy jungle and make Caedrel's life miserable?
Oh, and for Caedrel, weathering that storm, surviving the early game, he has to be the source of magic damage on an otherwise entirely AD team. A big burden for Excel's main carry in the jungle. All right, well, wrong league, but still, IG always good to see. Doesn't bring up old scars or wounds in any sense. Doesn't make me sad.
You can't hurt me.
You can't hurt me. There we go. Game start. Here we go. Mad versus XL. Game start. Charged up.
All right. Touche. So, level 1. I've got to immediately talk about Mad could look for an early invade onto the blue buff. If Karthus loses his blue, his life is miserable. I've been playing a huge amount with Ender, and he loves to play the Karthus jungle. And what he'll often do is he'll do buff to buff if he feels that he's going to get early invaded on. But it's XL that's actually going for an early invade. Let's see how...
Hook. Connects with the Shadow. I mean, that's got to be it. Even if he flashes over, he's not going to waste it. First blood.
Wow.
Beautiful from Excel.
This is a very unique early invade. We don't often see this, especially like if you've been spamming solo queue, this is not the strat that most people will pull out when it comes to an early setup. But when you go for the standard defense play, where you're in each position, they just throw the hook out into the brush, easy land onto the jungler, XL with the reads.
And I'm going to say the thing. That this is a Young Buck team. That was a Young Buck play. This man watches all the footage. He helps plan the level 1s, and you have to feel like they must have seen something in the tape to go for that.
Here's that invade we were talking about. Olaf, very strong in the early game, paired up with the KALISTA as well. I like this. Again, you want to try and steal that blue buff away from the Karthus, make his early game very upset.
You cannot win this skirmish. All these champions are stronger than you at level 1. Well, not the Zoe, so Mickey's going to feel pretty comfortable here.
They're just getting bullied out. Caedrel hasn't even started the blue buff yet. Tori going to hit it.
He's going to start the Wolves. Is Tori going to stick around
an early level 2?
He can just farm Wolves while staying in range for Smite. They are walking away, trying to buy a bit more time. Calibrum giving the extra range over to Patrik to try to zone off. The blue buff will reset, and Mad Lion's just wasted so much time. But because Caedrel doesn't really get anything done on the Wolf camp, he's losing time as well.
Let's quickly pan over to the bot lane. Let's have a look at the minions, the wave state right now. You'll see that all of the melees ended up dying, but Patrik is going to arrive just in time so that Carzzy and Patrik still on an even amount of experience. Now, that level 2 will, of course, be a little bit delayed, but you can already see how powerful this KALISTA TARIC is in the 2 versus 2. The TARIC sets up stuns with his E, which forces melee supports, especially like THRESH, to have to play on the defense. And because Tori started with the hook, he knows that that's a very long cooldown that Kaiser can look to abuse. Meanwhile, Carzzy, stacking up these Ren Spears into your opponent is always going to give you that huge trade advantage. So Patrik forced to play on the defense, and he's going to rely on his lifesteal gun in order to stay healthy.
Yeah, Severum going to try to mitigate what he can. But you're so right. Once you start losing a trade to a KALISTA, you keep losing it because she just chases you down the lane. And as a few more levels come in, the setup's only going to get easier as the Bastion will come through for TARIC, allowing the stun to come from the KALISTA as well. Mickey. Oh, man. They've been watching the Lee Sin highlights, and they say, never again. Shadow will not get to play League of Legends. This is Vitality last year flashbacks, where Mowgli would just come into the enemy jungle and fight over every camp. He says, I'm level 2 all game, you're level 2 all game.
So let's think about the ramifications and how all of this has been able to happen. First thing first, Mad wanted to steal KARTHUS blue buff. We talked about it. Excel clearly knew that it was going to happen, and they're able to mitigate it. So Shadow does his blue buff very late. Then what happens? Mickey, after getting first blood in a matchup he already has priority in, is able to guarantee priority. Now, I think what the plan was for Excel to actually steal away this blue buff. But because Caedrel decided to focus on securing the Scuttlecrap instead, they will not be able to take that one away. But this could have been huge. They could have used the prio they had in mid and in top in order to steal that one away. But for now, OLAF, he's going to feel pretty lucky after this one. He's still going to walk away with his blue buff, still level 3, but the fact that an OLAF is falling this far behind in the early game is the opposite of what Mad wanted to have.
Definitely the case, APHELIOS. Falling behind it all is just, it's doubly worse for a champion that needs to thrive in the early game state. For now, Orome pushed in on the top side of the map. Have not really gotten to watch top lane. Jungle has been all the rage, so we'll see how these trades work out. Expect just kind of dash in, dash out, deny the Haymaker, but Orome is ready for it this time around, and things going relatively even, but RENEKTON still able to clear the wave a little bit faster. As Caedrel will shift his attention back towards the top side of the map. There's no camps for him here, as the entire top side has been cleared out, but perhaps he has the respawn timer on the Wolves.
I think he's just hovering top right now because Expect clearly wants to reset, and they're afraid because of how awkwardly the wave is stalled. Actually, no, they can't die. No. You don't want to die with set. That's dangerous.
Oh, in goes Mickey. Cleanse.
Cleanses the slow from the W. Very important to identify that that slow can be pretty oppressive. Building up those bombs, charges as well, being able to explode them, get you the reset, allows you to go all in once again. But, you know, I was critical of, well, the RENEKTON. But I love what XL has been doing in this early game. They're playing around their prio very well. I think they could have pushed their advantage a little bit harder, but with what they're doing for now, I think it's effective because it's denying Shadow the ability to just permanently invade the KARTHUS, which means Caedrel gets to just keep perma-farming his jungle. He's going to double scuttle the OLAF, which I can just hear Ender laughing now. I can hear it because whenever we do a coup, he's always like, if I ever get to double scuttle anyone, something has gone hilariously wrong. Because as a KARTHUS, you're usually afraid to enter the river because you don't want to try and force these early skirmishes in the event that the enemy laners can collapse, but that's not what's happening.
And look, the KARTHUS pulling ahead, excellent. You can see the setup as Torre starts the Scuttlecrap when he gets that one, but we also have to talk about Mickey. He gets that first kill, and ever since then, he's been taking over this mid lane. Every time he has push, which is pretty much all the time, he's getting something. It's the plates, it's the vision, it's denying farm from OLAF, and right now, Excel are monstering this early game. Already 1.3k ahead, 1.4 as it ticks over. Gonna grab the Mountain Drake as well, and Mad are gonna have to figure out how to do something pretty quick here because they are steadily falling behind.
So I keep referencing me and Ender, but it's because we play
because you play a lot of League of Legends.
So much KARTHUS. Yeah. But a fun game we like to play is at what time are you at what level, right?
Okay.
So we like to have fun who gets the higher level faster.
That's the fun game.
Yeah, but it is because KARTHUS gets levels so quickly, like it's ridiculous. He's a jungler, he shouldn't have that much XP. But because of how quickly he power farms and his ability to counter invade as well is just extremely strong because of how quickly he clears through jungle camp. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on Caedrel's levels throughout the game. Right now he's level 5. He is about halfway to level 6, and that's where things really start to get spicy for the KARTHUS.
And we can see here a little bit why Expect picking this top lane matchup can just opt for the stun and immediately double dash out to safety and deny Orome any follow-up. Does mean that he's able to walk away from any pressure on the top side of the map, but haven't seen it really result in too much. As Caedrel gets close to level 6. You talked about it, he's racing everybody.
Now, the one thing we have to acknowledge is that TARIC ultimate can, of course, mitigate the KARTHUS ultimate. If you mistime it, if you use your KARTHUS ultimate too early and you time it in line with the TARIC ultimate, then obviously you're going to lose a lot of damage. So we may end up having a game of chicken later into the game when it comes to who ults first. But of course, KARTHUS has the advantage that he can still use his ultimate after he's dead. So that's something that TARIC is going to have to try and play around.
And of course, TARIC with the reactionary advantage. 2.5 channel time for TARIC ult, 3 second for KARTHUS. Is the Lantern's going to be used for the T-Bait, the flash forward for the play. Patrik now following up with the Sever and the onslaught coming in. Mickey on the backside looking for the follow. Big damage coming in from the Infernal ult, and Mickey going to try to finish him off. But Kaiser, is he going to laugh straight to the bank? I don't think so. Caedrel going to grab that one. Dark Harvest.
And in the draft we talked about how XL should be trying to play through bot lane. This is not what I was expecting, but I love to see it. The XL commitment was so well done. They had Prio in mid. They had the teleport available in top lane. They had that advantage over Orome, and Caedrel just hits 6. You can see Zoe stuck underneath her tower. There's nothing that she can do to answer this because she doesn't have TP herself. You can also see the vision control that XL have over the bot side of the map, and given that they also hit level 6 first, combined with the KARTHUS ultimate, means that yes, while it is a 5-man commitment, you put this KALISTA TARIC behind, you're able to secure yourself some tower plates, and overall, you're very happy in this early game.
And Mickey's getting very scary very fast because he's taking tower plates left and right. He's grabbing kills, he's grabbing assists across the map. 100% kill participation thus far alongside Caedrel. Now, Mad do respond with a play of their own. As the resets come through, they do manage to grab a Herald for themselves, perhaps more gold for Carzzy, but definitely not the early game dominance some may have expected from the KALISTA on this bot side matchup. And once again, all these little advantages just making the game that much easier for Excel to play out.
Caedrel hitting level 7, still behind his mid laner, like it should be, but we'll see how long that lasts for. To be fair, KARTHUS hasn't actually had that many opportunities to steal away many of the OLAF camps, but we've seen in this early game how Mad clearly had a plan with which XL was able to respond to and turn heavily in their favor. And I think that first blood was just so important for Mickey. And this is what we talk about. Both these mid laners, very volatile in terms of their play style, but in the games where they get ahead, they pop off. And this, for Mickey, is the perfect situation to allow him to pop off. You can see with the gold highlighted, he has an 800 gold advantage over his lane counterpart, and he is utilizing it across the map.
And of course, the kill participation can't be undervalued either because Humanoid has just been on the back foot this entire laning phase, forced to kind of just respond to wherever Tristana is going to go. And Mickey there with the Demolish, just chipping away. Third tower plate's waiting for him. And Humanoid not really able to get anything done. Blade of the Rune King only going to make things go from bad to worse. As Caedrel just waits in the darkness, maybe hoping to fish for a play. That said, Humanoid and the beautiful power of Zoe does get to trade pretty aggressively.
So let's have a look. Drake going to be spawning in about 35 seconds. I don't think Mad, yeah, the control ward is going to be there. They have the Rift Herald, so I think Mad's play is to trade top side for bot side. Of course, XL is going to be focusing on this Drake. They're going to have a numbers advantage in this half of the map, and Orome is just going to have to play defense. So Mad trying to get what they can back in their favor. And they should be able to secure first tower with the Herald. It's usually faster, but of course, with only 2 plates left on the bot side of the map, we'll see.
Sleepy goes through, but the play still manages to connect. In goes Mickey, but will not overcommit on the play.
We saw the nerf there. Patrick's ultimate, of course, the range decrease from 1600 to 1300. Wasn't able to follow that one up. But that will be the top tower going in favor of Mad, securing that first of the game. XL going to extend their Drake lead to 2. And this is where we start talking about scaling. We start talking about what's the late game or the mid to late game transition going to look like. Right now, Mad is heavily behind on itemization. You can see Blade of the Ruin King completed for Mickey. That whole item difference over Humanoid means that he's always going to be that much stronger. XL can already start looking for fights. That Black Cleaver likely going to be done for Expect very soon. The Essence Reaver nearly finished for Patrik. Meanwhile, Mad still completing a lot of their core itemization, and because of that, they can't utilize what should have been a very powerful mid-game spike for them. Instead, they're forced to play more defensively, which will allow XL to gain a lot more control of their map and reach those bigger item spikes. And again, it's the KARTHUS that you're keeping your eyes on because he's going to be one of the biggest damage dealers in this later stage, as Mad is kind of forced to itemize against the heavy AD comp that XL have actually drafted.
And a small bit of kind of insult to injury is that we are now on the Cloud Rift, which means that any time that XL have a lane advantage, they can get between the lanes that much faster. So if they do opt to set up in some kind of 1-3-1, it's very easy for them to punish any mistakes in movement from the Mad Lion side.
But also, Cloud ult.
Oh, never mind. Expect is now going to be the one in trouble as Mad have found the play, but Expect with a double dash out to safety. It's going to be a sleepy Renekton, but he's not going to be able to heal up too much. Flashing out to safety. Expect the Madman burning every single player's time. KARTHUS only coming in. Caedrel gets a kill while he's farming a camp. That's the KARTHUS special.
He's going back in.
Goes back in. This is it.
And he's out!
Absolutely outplayed. In the end, Expect goes down, but Excel just smashed Mad Lions in that exchange.
Oh my word. Mad wanted to try and punish Expect, given that he was the only one on the map right there. XL was still resetting. They were still getting into their lanes, but this is just going to be horrendous for Mad. They're going to lose top tower. They're going to lose the mid one as well. KARTHUS gets himself another kill, and Expect was able to kill Carzzy. Just everything is falling apart right now for Mad Lions.
And that's the casual KARTHUS kill right there. The, okay, hold on, Raptors. You just hit me for a second. I got something to do. Okay, back to killing you now. Yeah, don't mind me. Just a bit stronger.
This is what you said. Like, why gank one lane when you can gank them all? And right now, all of Mad Lions is sitting in the bot lane, and he's like, great, I guess I'm ganking this lane. Expect, he buys so much time because Mad mistime their CC as he's coming out of the stopwatch. But look at the heal from the Q as well, hitting 4 people as Shadow is tanking up the tower. The ultimate comes through, and then the TARIC ultimate. Mad's like, okay, we have to get something. Maybe if we can chase him down. But no, the alligator turns it around, and he turns Carzzy into boots. Thought I'd try to play by
Yeah, I thought it was
How was it? How would you rate my play-by-play?
Normally, you make the alligator into boots. Making the ghost woman into boots.
Yeah, I thought that was the play on words. You know, I thought it was clever.
It's a little too Dexter, like put the lotion on your skin for me. But you know, like take it in whatever direction. It's not a bad, not a bad
I didn't think of it like that. All right. Okay.
It's fine.
I'm gonna stop.
We're gonna move on. Hey, League of Legends, 14 minutes, 30 seconds. Game is happening. 4K gold lead for Excel. And let's be completely honest, that was kind of Mad Lions' hope to find a way back in the game, to punish Expect, to maybe shut this RENEKTON down. RENEKTON also a champion who wants to dominate early. But on the back of that play, it feels like Mad have just put themselves that much further in the hole.
Yes.
Because KARTHUS now has a needlessly large rod. Not even going to stop for the Oblivion Orb on the way because no one on the enemy team actually has time to buy anything else. And he's just going to go straight death cap, it looks like.
Yeah, so KARTHUS sitting at level 9 right now. Level 11 is really where KARTHUS starts to get very scary. You'll notice he's sitting on a needlessly large rod right now.
Yes.
Clearly, Death Cap Rush is kind of the thing today.
People like the Death Cap.
Yeah. I mean, when you're getting lots of
UK
kills...
players, actually.
Yeah.
Caedrel and... Like, there must be something about it that's just appealing.
Yeah, well... XL going to trade the Rift Herald for the Prio that Mad have invested up towards the top side of the map. I don't think they're going to be able to secure this tier 2 tower because Expect is, of course, on his way. I'm curious as to what XL will actually do with this Herald because I think it's very early for them to invest it. I think right now they, if I am correct, yeah, they have a fair amount of gold that they're sitting on. And I think that they should look to reset and actually spend some of that gold, restock some of that vision as well. And yeah, I think this makes the most sense right now. Don't overcommit. Spend like 2k gold sitting on top of your Tristana. Definitely want to spend that money.
And they've grabbed the Herald as well. So now as they reset, they can look to set up for the next play. All 3 outer towers are down. Tower plates are down, so it won't be quite as impactful as Mad's early Herald in terms of gold difference, but can still be a strong pressure point on the map. And for XL, it's a good look this game. This kind of dominance, this kind of planning in the early game because they are contesting for these spots in playoffs and they look to be the odd man out so frequently. But now taking down Mad Lions is going to be really big if they can finish the game out. Shadow now caught out. TARIC ultimate, where's it going to go? But OLAF just walking face first into Tori. Tori maybe overstaying, but they kill him before the TARIC ult can come down. Clean play thus far. Humanoid will find the bubble, but the jump out comes through from Tristana, and that's just going to be a quick kill pickup for the side of Excel.
Yeah, and initially, that looked pretty good for Mad. They thought that they could just turn it on to Tori, but a very clutch stopwatch came out, and as you rightly said, the TARIC ultimate was not down fast enough, enabling XL to quickly find that kill onto the jungle, and that makes securing this Cloud Drake even easier. Now, of course, XL have just spent all their money, which means that they can start to set up a siege. They've got pings going on into the bot lane. They have quite a few options to themselves. They can either look to push mid and then rotate down to bot, or they can do exactly the same thing the other way around, or they can look for more kills.
The vision is there. Orome's going to try to dunk the THRESH down, pulls him back with the face breaker, will get the kill in the end, but a 1-for-1 will still favor Excel as they've got pressure on the bottom side.
Yeah, support for top laner, definitely a worthwhile trade for XL. Caedrel now going to be stealing away enemy jungle, and of course he still has that Rift Herald. Likely going to throw it down towards the bot side of the map, help secure that objective, but to be honest, they probably don't even need it. They can actually look at opening up the base in the bot lane.
Humanoid's up top lane, so Excel can really do anything that they want to do. 4 minutes and 20 seconds until the Cloud Drake will spawn, so no pressure on Excel to really try to get any major objective. Of course, just starting with a Demolish, once it's back up and available, should be able to break through that tower so quickly. For now, though, it is just the charge. They will back away, instead setting their sights in the mid lane tier 2 as the TP is coming in. It will not be canceled in the end, and Kaiser seeing an opportunity to go on Mickey. Cleanse comes out. He's going to get the rocket jump out to
Ooh,
safety.
look at the set flank, though.
The dunk back could be huge here. Who's he going to take? Trying to find KARTHUS. Not going to get anybody. Facebreaker now coming in. Orome does not have the ultimate available, but here comes a big haymaker, and that will be the shutdown. Mad trying to find a way back into the game, but Humanoid now has to try to find a way out. Expect will not commit any further.
All right, so a lot of summoner spells were burnt in the top lane as Mad actually found themselves a kill in the mid. They punish XL, who don't expect the flanking TP from Orome, but they're not able to convert it into any objectives. So that was a big cooldown used from the side of Mad that honestly doesn't result in a huge amount. They do get the shutdown onto Caedrel, of course. Let's have a look back at how this one played out. So I love the fact that XL rotate from bot into mid, but of course they sacrifice RENEKTON. Oh, hang on, more action.
Orome may try to face break here. He's going to go for the dunk down. KARTHUS now coming out. Big fat shield. Tries to flash to reposition the Haymaker, but will not find it. Sadly, can't change the direction. But Mickey definitely taking some big risks there. KARTHUS all getting used for nothing in the end. Really just traded for the set ult as well as the flash.
Not much gained there from XL, and of course a big cooldown that is not going to be available for a while. The Cloud Drake will, of course, help that. About 2.5 minutes away before that's going to be available again. Caedrel should be level 11 by that time, though. That's going to be a big boost for him.
So if we're playing your favorite game, I just want to note for the record that Caedrel is still behind the solo lane.
Yeah. So I don't know if Ender just steals too much of my farm. That's kind of what I'm getting from this, because when XL, they have double AD carries, like, whose farm can Caedrel steal? But now I'm starting to think that the way in which he keeps out-leveling me is because he keeps stealing everything I need to farm instead.
And I think Ender's argument would have been that Caedrel's just playing KARTHUS wrong. Clearly, you should be stealing all the farm from all your lanes at all times. So
that's probably right.
Another riveting debate for a solo queue game, most certainly.
Now, the Cloud Drake is spawning in 2 minutes. Obviously, this is something that XL is going to prioritize. Not only is the additional 10% ult CDR very valuable, but you're going to be completing that Cloud Soul, giving you that additional movement speed, and it opens up the Elder Drake, which of course is a big win condition. And paired up with KARTHUS, did you watch that Tyler 1 clip where he was playing KARTHUS with Elder Drake? That's funny, man. I love the fact that the KARTHUS ult comes down and then just a dragon breathes on everyone. I think the interaction is super cool, very powerful later into the game.
Just feels like an ability that like a 12-year-old would make up, like really epic. Like, so first lasers come from the sky and then a dragon breathes on them. Like, oh my, come on, calm down. It's getting too anime in here.
Yeah, but it could happen. It could definitely happen.
Yeah.
And in any case, right now, the game is kind of set to neutrality. Well, Mad setting up around the Baron. Something that they could consider is looking to try and trade the Baron as XL invests for the 4th Cloud Drake. We did talk about how their Baron taking power is actually pretty fast, especially with the KALISTA.
And for now, Mad just trying to stay in the shadows, look for a pick, look for an opportunity to shut down here.
So they're just gaining priority in the mid lane. Of course, XL don't have teleports available to them, so they can't really invest anyone to top. They've just kind of got to abandon that. XL will likely send Expect to the bot lane. Patrik actually going for a reset right now. He does have 1,300 gold, so he wants to spend some of that before the fight actually happens. You can see that he has picked himself up the Infinity Edge, so that's going to be a big buy. But also note that Carzzy has 2 items available to him as well, and that's going to be very valuable in the upcoming fight.
Absolutely will be. And one thing that I do love about the composition here from XL is that they do have the luxury of the Tristana ultimate to come through, which will allow you to knock back any invulnerable targets from the TARIC as the channel is coming through. Maybe mitigate some of the power that Mad's composition can have. But for now, it's kind of all eyes on Mad to see exactly where things are going to happen. And for now, it's Expect looking to get picked up, but he's still in the middle of the team. He's not gone down quite yet, and he has the GA as well. Caedrel backing up, trying to buy space. It's Mickey off to the side. It's a split fight. 4 members of XL backing off, staying strong. Sleepy Tristana, follow up, big damage onto Mickey, but the Lantern's going to take him out to safety. Mad won't get much of anything, but a good flank from Orome means a slightly positive trade.
KARTHUS ultimate is up, but no one is low enough on the side of Mad for him to try and force that one out. But this is the best case scenario for Mad. They're able to stall things out, will deny the Cloud Soul from XL. Oh, I don't think they should try and contest this. They've got to back off. They don't have the numbers.
Torre? Okay. The confidence is not there to engage on Torre. A good sidestep from Shadow. Most certainly would have been his life. The ultimate is already down. So good play for Mad. Staying in the game for now. Still at a 4K deficit, but denying the Cloud Soul.
And so the game is kind of... I wasn't really expecting things to pan out like that.
No,
I thought that a lot more kills would happen and it was going to end in much more disaster for Mad. Okay. Okay. This is dangerous. Okay, good. I prefer this option from XL. Not
the
this
one they're
one.
going to do. Okay,
Well,
so they have Karthus, they have the chakra.
yeah,
which
I mean,
means they can
it's
spread
very
through.
fast. It is fast. I've definitely acknowledged that, but it's risky. Of course, they do have full vision control. All right, so it's so fast, in fact, that Mad don't even have time to respond. So I've got to eat my own words here.
And he does. Just like that, Kaiser, the only man who knew what was happening, gets punished for going to check.
So I wonder if Mad just spent too long before they reset, because we could see that Humanoid was actually just basing in the mid lane as Excel actually started that one off, and I wonder if Excel recognized that they had this window to rush this down, because Mad, it felt like that they had no idea that this was going on.
And now is the point where I think we start to say that XL should, at this point, be able to close out the game, because it is a 7K gold difference. They're at Cloud Point. Cloud, of course, going to spawn a minute and a half after the Baron buff falls away. And additionally, their siege is pretty fantastic, with Karthus in the Wall of Pain to zone away, the Lantern to keep people safe, and double 80 carries. See if Mad can find a desperate attempt back into the game, but the OLAF is essentially irrelevant without the TARIC ultimate, because he will just die walking face first into that front line.
So I went back and I watched the play, and basically what happens is that it takes Mad quite a while to do the dragon because Shadow solos it. In the time that he was doing it, both the Tristana and the APHELIOS had resets. So in that time, Mad had to clear out mid-wave, and they also cleared out their own jungle and then reset. So they spent a huge amount of time trying to do the Drake, which then gave XL this window. So just by sending both their mid laner and AD carry back, they were able to secure a big Herald.
Body block is there. Torre with the flash in. That was clutch. The hook follow-up certainly would have been a montage moment, a highlight for Reddit if it had connected, but not there in the end as Humanoid continues to poke down from the side.
Yeah.
But Mickey sieging on the top side, just shredding through this tower. Another wave will be there momentarily to allow him to continue. But Humanoid trying to fish in, looking for these bubbles. Will connect onto Torre. No one there to body block for him, but Kaiser getting thrown face first in the face of danger. They won't find the follow-up, but now Excel can look to turn the fights, but the suplex is there. The dunk is there. Orome is there into the back line. Big haymaker. That's going to be a sleepy APHELIOS. Shot out right on top. The double kill for the OLAF. The early game getting turned around in an instant as the entire XL lineup is getting shredded through. But no, Mickey's still alive. The flash haymaker. Ooh, the pull in on the face breaker and a finish with style as the shutdown comes through. Humanoid looking to finish off one more. The stolen flash is there. The stun comes over the wall. Expect trying to walk away from this one. No mana for Humanoid. The stolen ignite. The flash over the wall. Weak being in, and the ace for Mad Lions.
And Mad win a huge team fight against XL that they should not have been able to win. XL have been in firm control of the majority of this game, but Mad is just finding so many picks, and a large part of it is off the back of Humanoid. We've talked a lot about these mid laners at the very start of the game, and it's been pretty much the Mickey show for the majority of it, but here we see Humanoid landing good bubbles, good poke, with a TP flank coming in from Orome to lock in Caedrel, Torre, and Patrik. The moment that the KARTHUS goes down, that's a lot of your damage that's lost. Mickey, of course, dives into the backline to try and threaten Carzzy, but you've already lost your APHELIOS. This becomes a 2v4 very late into the fight, and you can see the damage that Mickey is outputting, but Humanoid just dances around the fight, stealing flash after flash and just outplaying the XL squad.
And I love to see it. Zoe, of course, well, not exactly Zoe killing everybody, but it's still a good look. The flash coming through right as the ignite gets picked up, the ace overall. Yeah, and like, let's be honest, that's exactly the reaction I think anyone should have after a play like that, because while XL are really good, Vedius, you still can't fight in a funnel against the set TARIC KALISTA composition.
For sure. And you've got to recognize that it's super easy for Mad to actually dive onto the backline in a choke point like that. So XL need to be very careful about how they approach a lot of these upcoming fights, because Mad are showcasing that they've got a lot of their items now. They're willing to go for these, and the bright side for XL is there's no TP available on Orome. That flank option is going to be much harder to execute, but Carzzy's just going to get harder and harder to kill the more items he gets.
In addition, I love that we're seeing Shadow opt for the GA third, it would look like. For now, it's just the BF sword. But Mickey now leaping in onto Carzzy. A lot of good damage, but just knocking back there with the ulti. Zoning set up by the turrets from APHELIOS, but bit of a scrappy exchange. Oh, and these bubbles have been so clean from Humanoid. Humanoid, though, will still get hooked. Torre not going to follow up. Ulti now coming in. Decent damage with the team splits. Oh. And now the TARIC ult coming in. What?
Yeah, the TARIC ultimate didn't come in time because the Caedrel ulti started just before the channel started from the TARIC, which means that it was mistimed. Carzzy ends up dying just because Humanoid was able to use his stopwatch And now Excel are on the hunt.
Oh, Expect running in, dash through, gonna find the stun immediately onto Kaiser, wants to pick off the weakest member first. Mickey going in, is gonna have the reset, leaps onto Humanoid, that's easy, and instantly Excel are right back in the driver's seat. Clean play overall. And the KARTHUS ulti really kicking this whole thing off as Excel barrel down the bottom lane.
3 members are dead now for Mad, and there are very few left to help defend the base. Excel are going to break in on the bot lane. Will they look to end the game now? I think that's the best option.
They have APHELIOS, they have Tristana. It's just Shadow. And the mostly full AD OLAF can't really do much without the TARIC there to give him the invulnerability. Orome maybe with the Facebreaker can pull a few members in, but has to be careful. The suplex back down, going in with the haymaker, but just instantly dies. Unstoppable now from the OLAF. Caedrel will still manage to live, however, and Carzzy just has to run for the hills as Mickey looking to finish this one off. Kaiser steps forward, snare going through, but Carzzy is still in trouble. Knock up there, Mickey next on the list, but the hook connects, and that's beautiful from Torre. A fantastic way to finish the game. Shutdown coming through on the end. A little bit of a consolation prize to Kaiser, but that's the win for Excel.
And a much needed win for Excel. They were sitting just outside many of the top 6 teams, but a win here will bring them to 6-6, and they're keeping the competition for that playoff spot very, very competitive.
And that level 1, pulling that all the way through, that's the thing that you love to see, because often teams will get that strong start and then they'll throw it all away, and it looked like Excel might have done that in the jungle, in that choke point. But they stay composed, they keep it together when they're under pressure, and they're able to find it in the end. And APHELIOS, you're rechecking this replay, and that is just an absolute heartbreaker.
It was like 0.2 seconds off the TARIC ultimate coming in.
And the thing is, you can do it on reaction. So it was just either the ult coming off cooldown at the wrong time or just wrongly timed button push, mechanical misplay, and that has to be so infuriating.
Yeah, for sure. Because the moment Carzzy drops, that's it. Excel can just keep steamrolling the rest of the fight. So many summoners were also unavailable for Mad because of the last fight that happened not too long ago.